Friends, a very good morning here at Sukasar Temple in Ekamar Chetra, the holy land of Bhubaneswar. Here I am with one of the most beautiful, one of the most adorable amorous couples. Look at this, what a divine pose, what a divine bliss. The liberation, the moksha is very well reflected here through kama, through pleasure. Friends, I am Jitu Mishra, a co-founder of Sarna Education and Cultural Services, Bhubaneswar. Friends, look at this sculpture. One of the most beautiful amorous couples here at Sukasari Temple, a 13th century ornate jewel in the holy land of Ekamar Chitra. This is really beautiful, most elegant among the sculptures, among the amorous sculptures of Bhubaneswar. Friends, all of you know that Bhubaneswar, the holy land of Ekamra, is a major center of temples. Once there stood 7,000 temples in this holy land, around the holy land, around the holy tank of Bindusagar. Today, of course, most of the temples are gone. Only 300 have survived at various states of preservation, and many of them are highly ornate. And most of these temples also show they depict such kind of amorous couples in different poses, and many of them are artistic jewels. So today let me take you around the temples of Bhubaneswar, where you have such beautiful amorous couples, depiction of such beautiful amorous couples in various states of situations. And this is one of the finest. And you also have at Rajarani and Brahmeshwar similar amorous couples, depiction of amorous couples also in Lingaraj. And also at Konark, which is widely known worldwide for its beautiful amorous couples. So friends, all of us know about Bharata, the holy land of Bharata, and how it differs drastically when we talk about the wholesome living from the West. India, from the very beginning of our civilizations, our sages, our ancestors, they had emphasized on wholesome living. And this wholesome living can be attained only when you have enough wealth, that is, artha. Then once you have the wealth, then you must go for pleasure, and that is sexual pleasure. If you don't have pleasure, then there is no meaning in life. So pleasure seeking, pleasure giving was also given a lot of importance in Hindu belief systems, in Hindu way of life. Then you have dharma, that is good deed, and finally the moksha, the liberation. So let me read a small stanza, a small paragraph from the work of Stella Cramaris. Stella Cramaris, all of you know, was a leading art historian. She was an internationally acclaimed art historian specializing on Hindu temple of India. According to her, and which goes very well with this culture I am here, the state which is like a man and woman in close embrace is a symbol of moksha, final release of the reunion of two principles, the essence Purusha and nature, Prakriti. Friends, I am at Baital Deola, which is also known as Tinimundia Mandir, mainly because of its three pinnacles at the top. So this is a Khakra temple dedicated to Shakti worship, and I am in the back side of the temple, and here in the Jangha portions you have an array of women divinities, but the key attraction here is the sculpture of Ardhanarishwara. Ardhanarishwara is actually both man and woman are represented in single sculptures. Left side is woman and right side is man, Shiva and Parvati. So the two cosmic energy coming together to form a divine reunion. And all of us know about Indian philosophy that both man and woman are equal, and they are complementary to each other. And if they come together, then there is a wholesome living. That has been the ideal of Indian philosophy, Indian way of living right from the very beginning. So here at Baital Deola, we have one of the finest images of Ardhanarishwara, the divine reunion of man and woman, Purusha and Nari. So while residing at Ekamravana, once goddess Parvati expressed her desire for Rasakrida with Lord Shiva, just like Lord Krishna and gopis. The Rasakrida, eternal dalliance, is not for sensuous pleasure, rather it is an eternal pleasure caused by the spiritual association of love, bliss and benediction. To indulge into Rasakrida, Lord Shiva emanated himself in 8 forms known as Ashtasambhus: Rudreshwara, Isaneshwara, Vaidyanath, Mukteshwara, Sukhameshwara, Uttameshwara, Uttareshwara and Kedareshwara. Goddess Parvati also emanated herself into 8 different forms known as Ashtagauris: Kapali, Mohini, Vidyavashini, Ramayani, Uttareshwari, Chandravasini, Dwaravasini and Amayani. The temples for Astasambhus and Astagoris are placed around Bindusagar. These 8 groups of Astasambhus and Astagoris entered into Rasakrida in the presence of Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. During the Rasakrida, Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati slipped away unnoticed to find out how much they would be missed. Their absence brought forlorn and sorrow for all. Chandravasini, one of the Astagoris, searched the entire Ekamravana, calling aloud for Goddess Parvati in her name as Gauri. Goddess Parvati was extremely pleased with the love and devotion of Chandravasini, had for her and allowed her to stay at Ekamravana in the name of Gauri with Kedareshwar as a paramount. We see them at Kedar Gauri temple. So this is how the divine rasa between Lord Shiva and Parvati, similar to what we had seen at Vrindavan between Lord Krishna and Gopis and Radha. So here at Ekamravana, Ekamra Kshetra, both Shiva and Parvati along with Astasambhus and Astagoris used to be in Rasakridas throughout their 13 long years of living. Friends, I am now at Brahmeshwar temple, the 11th century Brahmeshwar temple, one of the best examples, one of the finest examples of Kalingan school of temple architecture, the matured phase of Kalingan school of temple architecture, built in the 11th century. There is a profusion of sculptures all around, and what attracts me most is the beautiful amorous couples here. There are also here, everywhere you will find amorous couples, and they are all found in the upper Jangha. So let me read a chapter of my book Bhubaneswar, the Eastern Abode of Lord Shiva's Eastern Abode, published by Vidya Publication Inc. Toronto. Once sages asked Lord Brahma, the creator God, which is the most excellent place on earth that bestows virtue, dharma, love, kama, wealth, artha, and salvation, moksha. Lord Brahma replied, Bharata, in particular Utkala and its 4 great kshetras, Shankha, Arka, Ekamra, and Biraja. In describing Ekamra, Bhubaneswar, the holy city of Lord Shiva, which is worldly pleasure and salvation, on this very earth itself, Lord Brahma further replied, in Ekamra dwell the most beautiful women on earth, with the slender waist, plump breasts, ample and beautiful buttocks, lotus eyes, sweet languor due to intoxication. They represent the celestial ladies of heaven. They remain gay and jolly, days and nights. They speak pleasing words. They are clever and skilled in arts and crafts. They are experts in dancing and singing. They are proud of their feminine virtues. These beautiful women pleasing to behold are expert in flirting with men. Young men are fascinated the moment their slight glances fall on them. This is yet another sculpture from Mukteshwar temple, a beautiful damsel which we will be also seeing now. So by the 10th century CE, the temple decoration was dominated by the images of women who may appear alone or as partners in Mithuna images carved in high reliefs on temple walls. In the 11th century CE, with the introduction of 2-storied janghas, which you can see here, the 2-storied janghas, their images were shifted to the upper story. You can see the upper story, they are not in the lower story. Along with Mithuna and Maithuna images, so that they appear more like celestial damsels, being high above eye level. So this is what the upper Jangas you see is a profusion of amorous couples, Maithuna images, and this makes Bhubaneswar very very unique in the whole of Indian subcontinent when it comes to love, when it comes to kama, when it comes to pleasure seeking. According to the Puranas, during the marriage procession of Lord Shiva, his beauty was such that women rushed outside to catch a glimpse of him. In a haste, one woman runs out half dressed, holding a cloth and girdle. Another races out with the shampoo still in her hands, while one more still dashes out in a hurry, her garments worn inside out. By the 12th century CE, the amorous activities of gods and celestial beings did serve as models of behavior and conduct for the luxury living of the aristocratic society. The constant interplay between human conduct and celestial behavior, the changing moral ethics, behaviors, and aesthetics tastes of the aristocracy and the priesthood were being constantly incorporated into the religious texts and temple iconography. So this is what is all about Kamadeva's pleasure garden, how it is mentioned in the Ekamra Purana, in the Ekamra Chandrika. So Bhubaneswar, as you know, was a beautiful land surrounded by beautiful water bodies, wetlands, forest, mountains, rivers. Then you have the ocean, and there are countless villages, have a very rich flora and fauna. So all these features of geography had made Bhubaneswar into a heaven for pleasure seeking. Thank you so much for being with us.